Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to finish the onGUI function for our fast travel script. So let's have a look at what we've done so far. If player is fast traveling equals true, we don't do any GUI at all if that is equal to false. If the fast travel in progress is equal to true, we display the fade screen. And if we are fast traveling, we're actually in the process, then there's no need to do anything else. And that's what this if block is for. Now, if player cannot fast travel, the reason a player cannot fast travel in this game is if an enemy is too close. So in that case, we display these two GUI labels. And what we're going to do in this lesson is we're going to come here after this first close brackets. Now, if player cannot fast travel equals true, so let's just copy that and we'll paste it in. And we're also going to copy and paste this return line. Just make things simple and easy. Let's enter there. So, if the player cannot fast travel, there is no need to do anything else in the script. We just do nothing and return. Because we do not want to display any more of the GUI we're going to input if the player cannot fast travel. Because the GUI that's coming now is for the player to be able to pick a fast travel point. But obviously we don't want the player to be able to do that if cannot fast travel is true. And I'm just going to get rid of this open brackets. No need for extra brackets in this if block. Now we're going to come here and we're going to do the GUI in a slightly different way to what we've done before. Now if I come back up, and yes, because I've altered the font and the style within Mono Developer, it has messed up some of the comments. I'll actually do this off camera and I'll clean them all up and get them all back into line. But as you can see, we actually created an array of strings. And these are the names of our fast travel points. And we're actually going to use that when we come to display our GUI. So we begin with GUI, and this time we want GUI layout. Now there's no dot in between like there is here. The dot comes afterwards, and then we select begin area. Let's open and close brackets. Let's close that line off. Inside the brackets, new rect as always. And as always, we'll open and close brackets again and come inside this second set. So let's get some values in, and then I'll go through it and I'll break it down as we comment it. But first, let's get the code into place. So we're going to say screen.width divided by 2 minus, and I'll put this into brackets as well, which is the fast travel button horizontal divided by 2. And I've explained how this works. We say start drawing at half the screen, which is here, which means the GUI to be displayed to the right, but then we say bring it back by half the button width. So half the buttons is displayed on the left, half on the right, and it's plumb center. So I'm going to come here. So you should have 2 close brackets now after the comma that I've just input. I'm going to say screen dot height, and we'll divide that by 2 as well. And I'm actually going to leave it there. I'm going to have the GUI for the fast travel points begin at that screen height. Obviously you can experiment to find a screen height you're happy with, but I want it sort of here, my GUI, to pick the fast travel point. So I'm just going to select that. And let's have a look. We want to comment here, a comma, sorry. And we have our screen position in place. So let's break this up for commenting. I'm going to enter here after this open bracket, and we'll also enter here. And we'll get this part into the comments for now. So we'll say create a new GUI layout. And our usual comments at this position on the X. And we'll actually need to enter. So let's enter here. And in the comments for this line, we'll say at this position Y. So let's enter again. And you should have two closed brackets. In fact, we could probably put the entire code here. So let's do that. Just in front of these two closed brackets. We may alter it, but let's put it there for now. Underscore fast travel button horizontal, comma, fast travel button vertical. And I'm going to say times 3. And it looks like we will have to break this up. So let's do that. And we'll put by this dimension X by this dimension Y. And I've put times 3 for the vertical because it needs to be the amount of fast travel points you have. So if you have 2, it needs to be times 2, 4 times 4, and so on and so forth. I've got 3, so I'm saying times 3. And what we want to do now is enter here. And this is probably the most complicated part of the GUI. We're going to create a for loop. So for open and close brackets, we're going to open and close again. We're going to come inside this first set of brackets and we're going to say of type int. And we'll just give it the standard I, naming convention, equals 0, and we want the semicolon. I less than 3, semicolon, I plus plus. So what we're doing here is we're getting the length of the string. I equals 0. If I is less than 3, which is the number of fast travel points I have, then add them to I. So let's get that into the comments, and I'll just put get length of fast travel string. You can put array rather than string if you wish. It's entirely up to you. As I always say, your comments are for yourself. So that's how we're actually getting these naming conventions. So let's come back down to the GUI. And as always, if you struggle, if you don't quite understand how this works, again, you can always leave a comment below or private message me, and I will always do my best to try and answer for you. But that's basically how this works. We make it equal to 0 if it's less than the number of fast travel points you have. And again, you'll need to alter this number if you have more or less fast travel points than me. And then if it is less, we just add them to I. So let's come here and we're going to say if open and close brackets. And we're going to call the GUI layout dot button open and close brackets. And then we're going to come inside that bracket and we're going to say underscore fast travel, and we want fast travel names. So what we're saying is we want to get the fast travel names, and we'll do that by here opening and closing the square brackets. Now we've already got the length of the string with this line, so we can just now call that letter I. And because this is an if block, this is if a fast travel button is pressed. So this is the layout that creates the buttons. Now if a button is pressed, so let's get that into the comments. If button layout button is pressed, we'll enter here, and we're going to say underscore selected fast travel point is equal to I. Let's close the line off. Set selected travel point to, and I'll put this in the speech marks, I value. So as soon as a button is pressed, it identifies the value of that button based on the position in the string, and it selects the selected fast travel point is then set to that value, and that's how the script knows which fast travel point you've actually selected. So let's come here after this closed brackets, and we need another line of code. We're going to say GUI layout dot end area. Let's open and close brackets, close that line off. Into the comments, we're going to say end GUI layout area. And let's just get rid of that empty line. We'll save that off. We'll downsize mono develop. We'll check the console. I'm not worried about these assets refresh. These have just come since updating Unity. I will sort them out off of camera. Enemy transform will always be null. That's absolutely fine, because that is actually going to be fixed, or we're going to begin to fix this error in the very next video. So we can clear that off. We have no errors. Now the fast travel script is still not ready to be tested. So if you try and use the script now, it probably will not work correctly, and that's because we still have this function to fill out. But then once we've filled out that function, we can actually begin to test our fast travel system. So I hope you can wait for that. But on this note, I think it's a good time to end the video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.